Good morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of To The Point. Today's topic of discussion is Bonn Climate Change Conference. First of all, let's see why is it in the news. The 60th session of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC, subsidiary bodies, also called the Bonn Climate Change Conference, commenced on 3rd June 2024. Delegates from 198 countries are meeting in Bonn, Germany for discussions halfway to the UN Climate Change Conference in Baku, Azerbaijan. Now let's discuss about Bonn Climate Change Conference. These intersessional meetings are hosted by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC, at its headquarters to ensure that each conference of the parties can continue to effectively address the most pressing issues. It is the only other regular climate summit that the UNFCCC hosts. Bonn sees parties negotiate mechanisms for implementing the agreements made at the previous COP. They will work on language, moving towards draft conclusions that are then submitted as formal recommendations at the next COP. Now moving on to major issues at Bonn Climate Conference. First is climate finance. With a new collective quantified goal on climate finance to be decided at the COP29 to the UNFCCC in Baku, Azerbaijan later this year, the progress made at this midway mark is instrumental for an ambitious outcome. Setting an ambitious NCQG, that is needs-based, in trillions of dollars and ensuring that financial resources flow from developed to developing countries. Second is progress on loss and damage fund. At COP28, the loss and damage fund was operationalized. Loss and damage fund will help developing countries compensate for losses and damages from natural disasters caused by climate change. The decision was controversial as it entails having the World Bank host the fund and developed countries having no obligation to contribute. Next is phasing out fossil fuels. Probably the biggest pledge to come out of COP28 was the global agreement to transition away from fossil fuels towards renewables and energy efficiency. During this conference, discussions will hopefully make that pledge a reality. And national climate plans. Countries are due to submit their nationally determined contributions or NDC's commitments they make to reducing their greenhouse gas emissions early next year. Bonn is a chance for further discussions about integrating the COP28 fossil fuel pledge into these commitments before they are finalized. Now lastly, let's discuss about India's net zero emissions target. India at the COP26 announced its target to achieve net zero by 2070. India's long-term low-carbon development strategy is based on the principles of equity and climate justice and the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities. The mantra of life, that is lifestyle for environment to combat climate change, was also shared in COP26. Now is the time for practice question. Consider the following statements about Bonn Climate Change Conference. 1. These conferences are hosted by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. 2. Conference negotiate mechanisms for implementing the agreements made at the previous conference of the parties. 3. 29th session of the Conference of the Parties, that is COP29 to the UNFCCC, will be held in Baku, Azerbaijan. Select the correct answer from the codes given below. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. Send the answer of this question in the comment section. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.